And then finally, I'll just mention really quickly these systemic variables. You know them, you see them, you're aware. You know, if there is a breakdown in communication and collaboration, if you've ever had a parent who is not on the same page, you know how tough that can be and how that can contribute even to the behavior of that child. You know, they understand that, and sometimes they're playing those two ends against each other. But other times, they're just caught in that chaos. Or if we're using differing approaches. You know, and again, I'm not going to say that, well, then they're going to go home and all our hard work is undone. I hate that. I don't like that saying at all. Because I don't believe if you're doing good work every day, it can work, even if it's just at school. And it's not going to be undone every night. But you may have some reteaching that has to happen every so often. But I think even more detrimental, you know, because to me it's not so much a cross environment, although that can be tough. But if within that environment, if between you and the 3 other paras working with this kid, we all have a different approach, that can be detrimental. That can be, and I have often said that a poor behavior plan that is implemented with fidelity is better than a good behavior plan that's implemented inconsistently. Because you can take the right plan, but if we're not doing it all the same or at the same times or in the same way, it's not a good plan anymore. And so part of, you know, I mean, I'm always walking that balance with my plans, and you've worked with me before, you know, I'll check in, like, can you do this? And I need you to tell me if you can. Because we have to work with that. And that may not be the solution. It may not be like, oh, we'll just ditch it then because you can't do it. But I'm going to try to help get you to a place where you can, or figure out a way that we can make it work with the overall plan. And then this aberrant behaviors on it, I mean, we reinforce the wrong stuff. And sometimes it's not at all intentional or even in our awareness. But the one that I see often is where you come up and say, hey, Johnny, it's math time, you need to be doing your math. And Johnny says, shut up, bitch. And you say, fuck. And he says, I can talk to you any way I want. And you say, no, that's not okay. If you do it again, we're going to have to go down and talk to the principal. And he says, well, yeah, make me. You can't make me. Well, I'll talk to you, you know. And you think you're being very calm and you're kind of keeping it together and you're being reasonable. And that may all be true. But Johnny is not doing math. And he has your undivided attention and interaction. Ding, ding, ding. Johnny wins. Right? I mean, his behavior won. His behavior was honored. He's not doing what you asked, but he is engaged with you. And for some kids, that is a double dip. Not all. Again, some kids' attention, or you know, but some kids, that is definitely a double dip of reinforcement. Add a little sensory in there, and you got the trifecta, you know, like you start pulling on them or something, and then arguing with them. Oh my gosh, so much positive reinforcement, even though it's not a positive interaction, right? So we just want to watch out for those situations. So we do need to move beyond this idea of control. So often we say, well, he wants control of everything. That's why he's doing it. Well, I got to level with you guys. We all want control of everything. That's why we all behave. Control is predictability. There is no one here that wants to lose control. Anybody want your tire to go flat when you're driving home this afternoon? Looking forward to that? Trying to figure out what to do to get off the road, change your tire? Sound like fun? No! No predictability there. Loss of control really sucks. Right? You don't want that. So you're all a bunch of controlling people then, right? I say you're just people. Just like me, I want to know what to expect. And if I don't, then I'm going to try to change that, so I will. And so for the kids we're working with, that change often looks like bad behavior because it gets a predictable response in the environment. And manipulation is the same way. Oh, she is so manipulative. Everything she's doing is just trying to manipulate us. Again, that means behavior is functional. That's really all you're saying. So you had some some work duties that you couldn't fulfill and you needed someone to step in for you. So you just called them up and said, hey, I need you to be there at 3 o'clock Thursday, and that worked, right? Or was it more like, hey, best buddy ever, you're so nice, I really appreciate you, if you do one for me, I'll do one for you. You manipulator, right? Or even me, here, now. I'm hoping to change your mind in some way. Manipulator. Turns out if you use good social tools, they call you charming. If you use poor social tools, they call you a manipulator. It's the same thing. It's just the tools. So the kid that feels like he's manipulating you all the time, he doesn't have the right social tools. I have watched children avoid so much work just by charming the pants off their teacher. You ever seen those kids? Like they can get anything they want, any way they want it, because everybody just loves them. Manipulators. But everybody just loves them. You know? Charming. In fact, no, sociopaths are often very charming in order to manipulate. You know, what's that guy who used to get the girl the mass murder and he just talked you into his car? Bundy, yeah. He's like, oh, my honor, he was so charming. He's like, oh, get in the car with you. You know, so it is about these other variables that we talked about and how do we figure out which of them are impacting you so that in the end, this lens, it's not that you have to be the assessor. You don't have to be the behavior analyst in the room. You just have to use this lens that sees behavior as functional and asks why. And then you can be a part of the solution. Absolutely. You can be a part of the positive change. So again, we established that behavior is to get something or avoid something. It's going to be internal or external. So some examples I came up with. You're bumping into stuff. Or into people. I had one guy and he'd come down, bam, bam, bam on my shoulders. It was a good way to find himself in space. It was all about proprioceptive input to him. It had nothing to do with me. So sometimes this persistent banging and crashing and smashing is not about trying to be willfully defiant, believe it or not. It could just be about trying to find my body in space. Take it. Start coughing. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to not use excuses yet. There it was. It's nearly impossible. To gain something internal, another example could be creating conflict with others, gains this release of hormones that some people experience as positive. And I know some people do, because people pay money to do things like cliff jumping. Like pay actual money to jump off a cliff and hope that my chute opens and start smashing to the ground. Woohoo, fun! No. I don't think so, but some people do. And you know people create arguments because it's reinforcing. You know these people, and not just students you work with. You've met them. They're out there, right? Drama, drama, drama. In fact, this whole social media thing, which is just, to a behavior analyst, it's quite a world to look at, I gotta tell you. And I look at it and I see this a lot. I see a lot of people who would intend, and I don't even have a Facebook page, I'm not even a part of it. But that whole lion thing that happened, right? You got the whole world looking at the dentist that killed the lion. And the next thing you know, here's this gal posting all these pictures of her with dead giraffes and dead rhinos and dead anything. Well, why is she doing that? To get this negative attention. So, we know that some people, I hate that feeling in a conflict. I hate it. But we know some people are seeking it. And that's what's in it for them. And so even if it's not something you would ever seek, it doesn't mean that somebody else wouldn't. So here, then this is a good example of how, this could be to end something. So cutting or burning, self-harm might allow me to avoid the thing that's really hurting me. The abuse, the neglect, whatever it was. However, I've met some people who you could move that up into, to gain something, they would say, I am completely numb, and I cut to feel. So I want to get a sensation. So again, it depends on the individual in terms of why they might do that. This one looks like non-compliance every time. Willfully defiant, putting your head down, closing your eyes, covering up, maybe bringing your hoodie up. And yet I've met a lot of kids, and not just kids on the spectrum, kids with attention deficit or anxiety issues, where this is coping. They feel overwhelmed, and they cope in this way. And yes, they're probably avoiding work too, but that doesn't mean that's the primary function of their behavior. This one makes me giggle because, it's such a low-cost behavior, like, Wendy, what's wrong? Right? It's like, just get loud enough, long enough, especially in school, somebody's going to come see what's up with that. So that's all I have to do to get you to me. So just be vocal, right? So that can be a powerful behavior. You're between me and the thing I want. How do I get to the thing I want? I need to move you. And that's assault. But it's functional. It gets me to the swing. So again, I'm not endorsing the behavior. I just am trying to help you see how for the individual doing it, it works. And this is why it works.